Australian Open brought a familiar mix of pressure, expectation, and curiosity around Emma Raducanu. The British number one arrived with questions surrounding her form, her preparation, and her resilience. What followed on Margaret Court Arena was not just a win, but a revealing lesson in adaptation, mentality, and tactical intelligence. What made this first-round match feel significant before it even began? The match carried emotional and competitive weight because Raducanu entered the tournament as British number one while still rebuilding rhythm after inconsistent preparation. Fans and media were watching closely to see whether she could assert control early or whether uncertainty would return. What was Raducanu's likely game plan going into the match? Her natural strategy is based on controlling rallies with early timing, using depth from the baseline, and taking time away from opponents. Against a lower-ranked but fearless opponent, the intention would have been to dominate with clean first strikes and prevent extended rallies. Why did the early stages of the match not go according to plan? Her opponent played with freedom and struck deep returns that disrupted Raducanu's rhythm. Raducanu struggled to land a high percentage of first serves early, which led to more neutral rallies and less immediate control. What signs showed that the original approach was not working? She was being pushed behind the baseline more often than she prefers. Her timing looked slightly rushed and she was reacting instead of dictating. This allowed her opponent to grow in confidence and belief. How did Raducanu begin to change the momentum of the match? She gradually stepped closer to the baseline and began taking the ball earlier. This reduced the time her opponent had to prepare and shifted control of rallies back into her hands. What adjustments were noticeable in her shot selection? She began using more controlled aggression rather than pure power. Her forehand became flatter and more purposeful. She mixed depth more effectively and chose higher percentage attacking patterns rather than forcing winners too early. What changed in her serve as the match progressed? Her placement improved significantly. Instead of focusing purely on speed, she used better angles and smarter locations, which allowed her to start more points on the front foot. How did she handle pressure moments during the match? Rather than panicking after losing early momentum, she slowed down between points, reset her body language, and trusted her patterns. This calm response to pressure helped her stabilize and gradually impose herself. What did her body language reveal as the match evolved? Early on she appeared cautious and contained. As control returned, her movement became sharper, her posture more assertive, and her decision-making more confident. These subtle changes reflected a player regaining command. What was the true turning point of the match? The shift came when she began consistently winning neutral rallies by taking time away and forcing shorter replies. Once she achieved this, her opponent struggled to find solutions and the balance of power changed clearly. Why did her opponent struggle to respond to the new tactics? The opponent had success when rallies were longer and Raducanu was passive. Once Raducanu increased depth, timing, and variation, the opponent began to feel rushed and errors increased. What does this performance reveal about Raducanu's development? It shows growing maturity in match management. Instead of relying purely on talent, she demonstrated the ability to diagnose problems and solve them in real time, which is a key trait of elite players. Why is adaptability so important for Grand Slam success? Grand Slam matches demand adjustment because conditions, opponents, and pressure constantly shift. Players who can evolve during matches give themselves far greater chances of surviving tough moments. How could this win influence her confidence going forward? Winning after a shaky start reinforces belief. It tells a player that even when things feel uncomfortable, solutions exist. That kind of internal trust can become a powerful weapon deeper in the tournament. What themes might define Raducanu's approach in future rounds? Expect more emphasis on controlled aggression, smarter point construction, and selective risk-taking. Her ability to mix patience with initiative will likely define her tournament. Why was this first round more than just a routine win? Because it was not about dominance from the first ball. It was about resilience, adaptation, and problem-solving. Those qualities often matter more than raw scorelines. Finally, Raducanu's opening match in Melbourne was a reminder that progress is not always loud or perfect, but it is visible in the details. Her ability to adjust, stay composed, and rebuild momentum may prove far more valuable than any single highlight shot as the tournament continues. If you enjoyed this deep analysis and want more educational tennis breakdowns, remember to share this video, like it, and subscribe to the channel for future content.